So, this about to start? Oh, hold on. This happens sometimes if the game's running too long.
You go back to the title.
No. There's this weird audio glitch that's just how I set up the game.
Oh, interesting.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So, are we ready to go, or?
Yeah, I mean, unless Loop has something to tell you about the audio. I mean, the audio sounds good for me right now, but I can't hear any game sound.
Oh, let me just do some game sound then. We good?
Testing, testing.
Chat is saying one guy is really loud.
Okay.
They're saying the restreamer has the loud mic.
ForOhForError, can you go ahead and talk a bit?
Okay. Audio levels, man. What you gonna do?
Actually, I think it's the mumble that's loud. Can you turn down the mumble a bit?
Yeah, let me... Alright.
They're saying, I think it's your audio Cassidy that is kind of loud or distorted.
Okay, I turned it down.
Or wait, no,
I turned down the mumble.
Okay.
I turned down the OBS sound.
Yeah,
too.
I think it's
Good
just
now?
needs to be turned down a bit.
I think it's good now. It sounds good to me.
Okay.
Alright, let's go for this.
Did I give you a countdown?
Give me 1 sec.
Alright.
Okay, get the countdown.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Hydra Castle Labyrinth. It's a little freeware Metroidvania game, released in Japanese in I think 2011. The way the game is laid out, there's 8 dungeons, each with a boss, and the 8th boss is the Hydra. The story of the game is basically you're in a Hydra castle labyrinth, I guess. So go kill the Hydra. Anyway, there's a lot of items that I collect on the way. This one's the copper pick, and that lets me break breakable blocks, like those red ones up there, in 3 hits. There's also some other blocks that are disguised as the wall, and those usually hide some items. And I'm gonna start off the run by getting a lot of items that I need to complete the rest of it. So right now I'm headed to go get the first sub-weapon, and right below my health you can actually see sub-weapon ammo, which I need 15 of before getting the second sub-weapon. And these orange drops there give me 5 each, so I'm actually good now on ammo. And, oh wow, it's being really generous, considering this is RNG based. Anyway, so the boomerang I got has some cool properties. It follows my vertical. The item I just got there is the power band, which lets me climb ladders faster. That ghost has a lot of RNG. I throw the boomerang to try to keep him off one of the worst paths that'll knock me down, but sometimes he just decides to hit you anyway. And in this room, here's one of those blocks disguised as a... whoops. Didn't grab the actual item there. So this is the silver pick. It lets me break breakable blocks in 1 hit. And here, you're not supposed to progress past this area, but you can use invincibility frames to get past that laser if you do it right. And now I'm headed to go get the best sub-weapon in the game, which is the bomb. One thing you'll notice is that taking hits really paralyzes you for a long time, which means that taking hits is just really awful for the speedrun. Those RNG ghosts were really nice to me there. And this is the room where the bombs are. Very dependent on cycles, but one of my most practiced rooms. And the bombs are probably the most broken item in the game because you can do zips with them, like that. And, yeah, as you can see, that... oh no. Okay, so I died there. Lava's an instant kill. So, I'm going to have to play up to that point again. Do we have any donations to read?
Yes. I was actually about to ask if we had a bit of time for that.
Yeah,
we
sorry.
have, it's alright, we have one donation from Icicle Edge for $20, and the note is sardines.
Huh.
I saw some sardine spam in the chat, so not really sure what that's about, but thank you for your donation nonetheless. And I want to remind everyone that we have some incentives coming up for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, which Sinister 1 will be doing in a few games here. We have the KO Mike Tyson incentive at $250 to meet it. We currently only have $10 toward it, but that would be KOing Mike Tyson the alternate way that's not a TKO. So I believe knocking him down 3 times in 1 round. I believe that's how it works.
I think so.
And coming up later is Donkey Kong Country 2 Do Bramble Scramble the Old Way for $100. There was a wrong work discovered within the past several months for that stage. And if you want to see it done the normal way, because it's a cool level, and you love the music, then you can donate to see that happen. That run will be a true ending run by the Claude, by the way, so it'll be a little different than the normal any percent runs you might be used to seeing.
So I'm gonna take this time to explain how zipping works. Basically, the top tile of a ladder block is solid, so when you get forced off of it by a bomb explosion in the right place, which is, you have a leeway of about 3 pixels, the wall basically tries to force you out of it. The game tries to force you out of the walls, and by using that, you can zip through walls either to the right or down, and once in this run to the left. So, I'm almost back to where I was. Bit of bad luck on the lava there, but...
By the way, the name of the game is Hydra Castle Labyrinth, and it was made by Japanese indie developer E. Hashimoto in 2011.
Yeah.
I don't know if the game name is displayed anywhere on the stream title or anything. I don't think it is right now, so...
And I missed a bit of the cycle there, so I'm gonna have to take this a bit slow to make that out. Alright. And there's that audio glitch. Oh. So getting into a position for these zips can sometimes be a bit hard. Alright, back here. Okay, so the reason why I came here in the first place is to get those, which let me double jump. Which let me get this, the gas mask. What those do, the double jump's fairly obvious, but there's a slight glitch in how it works, in which you always have a jump stored when you're going across room transitions. So you can sort of triple jump in some cases. And the gas mask makes me immune to those puffs of poison gas. As you'll see in this room, I can walk right through them. And now I'm just getting one of the last items before I actually head out to the first dungeon. And that was actually a bit of a damage boost, so I don't have to work myself out of being stone again, being petrified. This is one of the best rooms in the game to get ammo. And this is the green scroll, which lets me have more projectiles on screen. So now I can have 2 bombs on screen. And now just another zip back to basically the start of the game. And we can get started on Dungeon 1 really quickly. And I'll be saving before and after each dungeon, because there's a chance I can die pretty much anywhere, and I don't want to waste any more time.
Wow. That zip was kind of crazy.
Oh. And that jump fell short, so I'm just gonna have to climb back up here. That's never happened before in a run. I know, marathon watchers love those. So here is the catfish gem. It makes earthquake attacks not affect me. I'm grabbing it now for the 7th boss. And there's a little graphical glitch you can do at the beginning and end of dungeons. Anyway, this is Dungeon 1, Dodo's Den. Each dungeon is named after the boss at the end of the dungeon. The boss here is the Dodo.
Also, yeah, reminder that I live in New York City and there are cop sounds frequently in the background, so apologize if anyone gets alarmed.
Alright, so those two zips are basically the entirety of this dungeon. Not that it's that long normally, but...
So how much content do the zips skip? It seems like you don't really skip like any bosses or dungeons or anything. It's just getting through rooms more quickly.
You can't actually skip bosses or dungeons because there's those keys.
Okay.
But you can skip a good number of the rooms in pretty much every dungeon. So now I'm gonna go grab another sub-weapon right over here. This is the arrow. It works basically the same way as knives in Castlevania. It is just a projectile that flies straight and does the same damage as my sword. Useful in a few areas. That's the golden gem. A very useful item that increases the drop chance of basically everything in the game, which gives me a much better chance of getting all the ammo I need. Just having a bit of trouble positioning this zip. Alright. Gonna wait for that cycle there, because getting hit is much slower. These slimes are RNG based, they were nice to me there. And now, this is the axe item. It's actually called the Golden Axe. It's not golden, but whatever. And the red scroll lets me do a charge attack, which I will basically only be doing right there. It saves time in basically that room only. Dungeon 2 is the Bat's Cave. Starts right off with a zip. And now another zip in here. That should be good. And again, basically at the boss now. Just a couple of rooms. And here's the bat. The bat's where strategy gets sort of more complex. Using multiple sub-weapons. And that wasn't too bad. Now I'm going to go grab the shield up there in the corner. It's in that block, of course.
Do you have time to read one donation?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, we have $5 from Elma Goose, and he says $5 for DKC2 to doing Bramble Scramble the old way, because that song reminds me of my childhood. Thank you for your donation, Elma Goose.
So that zip shows just how crazy you can get with some of these. I basically zipped right to Dungeon 3. And if you do that zip wrong, it'll actually boot you to the title screen, because you get forced out into the actual map area. Some more...
Oh, I like to look at this dungeon.
Yeah. More RNG ghosts down there, but anyway, this is Golge's Ruins. And I'm having a bit of trouble positioning this. Oh, that should be good. No. Sometimes it'll just kick me out into the room before for no reason. I don't really need any health in this dungeon, so that's fine. Alright, so this is Golja.
So, question for me, after you actually get into the floor, how finicky is it to, like, actually zip where you want to go?
Not very. And that's all of Golja's fight. He's one of the quickest boss fights if you do him right. But basically jumping brings you down a block, and otherwise you can just really alternate right and left to determine if you're moving or not. Basically, one of the directions is moving, one of the directions is stopped. So that was one of the more complicated zips. It needs a weird series of inputs, and you actually go to the left of it by riding along the edge of a room. So now we get to see more of the shield doing its work, blocking those shots there. And the next dungeon is the worst dungeon, and obviously the worst dungeon has to be the water dungeon. So... whoops, missed him there. So I'm just going to go grab this item, and as you notice, my health was draining, now it's not. Your health drains underwater until you get that item. The gills, I believe they're called. I actually want to grab this.
Wow, you move really slow in the water.
Yeah, there's something that can be done about that later, but... And I missed killing these fish, so I have to basically bear with the slow movement speed. Alright. So, a lot of the next dungeon will basically be avoiding the water through zipping and other means. And I'm actually really good on ammo right now. Like, 62 is above average for this point. So this is Dungeon 4, Gyra's Bog. You can see that triple jump basically there, because I crossed a room. And I'm gonna do a zip here. That should be good. Yep. Go under that guy. And that room looks sort of tight, but really all you have to do is hold right. Jump at the right. That previous room is one of the worst rooms in the game for me. Not on that attempt, but actually coming back to it after I get the item in this area. Oh, whoops. Gonna have to do this a bit slowly now. Alright, so this is the flipper item, and now I move at mostly normal speed in water. A bit slower, but I'm not really in water enough to have it make that much of a difference. And now is why the room is the worst, because the place I need to zip off of is right in between these unkillable blocks. And I actually got it first try, so...
Nice.
It's basically... It's not RNG, but it's basically random if you get that. And now I just have to kill all the enemies here to get the required item for this dungeon. And that's the Dragon Idol, which lets me, still doing the thing right now. Can you stay up with it normal? Thanks. Sorry, just had to talk to my roommate back. Right, the Dragon Idol lets me get to the boss, basically. And there's no way to really skip getting it, because there's not really any place you could zip off of to skip it. So... yeah, the Dragon Idol lets me kill this statue. And I'm about to use axes for the first time now. Also one thing to note, this entire area is underwater. I'm actually going to grab this heart for a bit of safety.
I want to remind people that we also have Bid Wars coming up later, and there are file name incentives, which we haven't really talked about much. We have Donkey Kong Country 3 file name, which currently has a commanding lead of $444 put toward RPCSEA, spelled out like that, and the file name is 5 characters.
Alright.
So that's probably a lock. If you wanted to talk, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Hydra, the boss of this dungeon, and you basically have to hit his tail with some bombs. And that wasn't too bad of a fight. He normally trolls some more than that. Coming up next is Labyrinth's Cavern, which has about the worst boss in the game. Probably tied between the 5th and 6th bosses for the worst boss in the game. But this next one just has some RNG elements. So it can just decide to hit you. Alright, so here's the next dungeon. And this is Labyrinth's Cavern, as I mentioned. And you know it's a bad dungeon when it starts out with the annoying RNG enemies. Especially since I got hit there. And the gimmick here is that the dungeon is dark. I'm actually gonna grab that, but... Oh, whoops. And also a gimmick of this dungeon are these giant, spiky death balls, which do a lot of damage, and I'm gonna be super careful around them. That enemy will sort of take you blind if you don't know he's there. Alright, so this is the last time I need to dodge a spike ball, and now this is the limit. And he just decided to hit me there. Doing not the best job of dodging, but... And I actually use the game music, which is synced to the boss's movements, to time most of this fight. And looks like I'm gonna get through all right. Okay, good, he's dead. He was about to disappear, too. So that's Dungeon 5.
How many dungeons are there, by the way?
There are 8 dungeons.
Alright.
Takes from Mega Man a bit in that, I guess. Now, I'm pretty much good on ammo, so I'm not really gonna go out of my way to farm here. This dungeon does have a skip in it, but it doesn't have any zips. It's actually the reason I got the axes. Really, this is just movement. Trying not to get hit by all the bats. The required item of this dungeon would normally be the feather, which lets you ride on those air currents, but you only need it for that room. By the way, Mega Man platforms, another way in which it takes from Mega Man. But since I can just hit the bats with axes there by double jumping and throwing them at the right time, I basically don't need to get the key item of this dungeon, which is nice. And that is just a required item that I grabbed. Another required item like there was in Dungeon before. And that'll let me get to the boss. I'm actually gonna save before the boss, because this boss is really technically challenging. And if the beginning goes wrong, then it gets pretty bad. So I am gonna save here. Don't want marathon luck to happen to me again. So this is the devil. 2, 6, 2. And yeah, it messed up a bit there, so... Ooh, this might be a bit... Yeah, I'm basically dead here. Yeah. So that's why I saved there. This guy has killed a lot of runs, just trying to get the strategy down. Oops, I'm gonna reload him. Alright, I should be good. Yeah, I'm good. So that was the ideal boss fight. Too bad it took a couple of tries, but I actually have more than enough ammo, probably to finish the game at this point. So I'm just gonna head over to the next dungeon. And that is Garm's Grotto. Using this zip point again. Actually the last time in this room.
Out of curiosity, have you played any other E. Hashimoto games?
Yeah, a couple. There's actually this one Zelda-based one, which, actually, if anyone would be willing to volunteer for translation of that into English, I have the game files and I could actually translate.
Which one is that? I'm familiar with some of his games. Is that the one with the cane?
It's called Guardian of Paradise, I believe.
Right, yeah.
Very interesting, based around a bunch of companions you can get that each have a couple of powers. It's basically, you know, a Zelda game. Top-down Zelda, but it's done well.
The one I'm familiar with is Buster, which...
yeah. That's the only game he has that's not actually freeware.
Yeah, I find that interesting, but I bought it years ago just because a friend of mine told me about it and it looked really cool. And it has a really, really in-depth movement system. Like, you have a lot of actions at your disposal, like dashing and...
yeah, I've played through the demo of it.
Yeah, it's cool. I really hope... Well, I know that some people have run that, but I hope that a task of it appears eventually.
I was actually thinking of getting into it after I get a good time during this.
Oh, nice.
So the whole reason of this dungeon, the whole reason I've been going around this dungeon is to pick up these shoe coins, which I need to get. I need them to get the required item of this dungeon, so I can get to the boss. So, one last... Oh, this time that. being careful here because I can get booted out of the dungeon if I do this wrong. But anyway, these shoes let me walk on lava, so lava is no longer an insta-kill. And... oh, forgot about that. And even though I'm pretty much good on health, I am going to top myself off before fighting the boss, because there is a chance that he can kill me. Not a very large chance, but better safe than sorry. So, the boss of this dungeon, Garm, is right down this drop-off here. And he's probably the easiest boss in the game. Like, he's the only boss, my first playthrough through here, that I killed using basically only the sword. And that's because it's just, he has a super easy pattern. To avoid his attacks, you really only need to be standing the right distance away from him. I'm actually staggering my bombs here just so that invincibility frames don't interfere with the way the bombs do damage. So that's Garm, and now I actually do have enough ammo just to finish the game off, so now I'm just headed to the last dungeon, Hydra's Throne. Of course, the bats couldn't resist getting one last hit on me. Now, there won't be very much time to explain Hydra's Throne, because I skipped a lot of it. Basically, it's arranged with a central pillar going down it. A central, basically, shaft with a ladder in it. And normally, to unlock sections of that ladder so you can keep going down, you'd have to do boss refights. By the way, bombs let you drop down ladders. But bombs drop you off ladders, and boomerangs go through walls. So, you can just skip all that. And now here's the Hydra. So, time is coming up in probably less than a minute.
Alright.
The Hydra's probably the hardest boss you do on your first run through, but he becomes a lot easier once you know a strategy for it. And these rocks are actually in random positions. I can basically take one hit from the rocks before I could die. So there's not very much tolerance for this. And I'm just about to kill the last head. Oh. Okay. And now, just a couple of hits. And time.
Whoops. Shit.
Yeah.
It should be 34:25, I think?
Yeah,
not too bad.
Roughly 34:26 or so.
Considering the death at the start, which lost me probably about 3 minutes, not all that bad. So yeah, that was Hydra Castle Labyrinth. If anyone's interested in that translation thing, please PM me, because I'd love to do that. And thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for playing in the marathon. I'm happy I got to see this finally.
Yeah, no problem.
I've been meaning to watch it run for a while.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to really enjoy it, so yeah, it was cool.
Oh, cool. So, is the next runner ready?
Next run is going to be The Wing of Medulla by Duckfist. And I think someone else is going to be coming on for donation reading type stuff. I think Darkman's coming on. So sit tight while we transition a bit here.
Alright then. Just gonna actually show off that visual glitch a bit more because we have time. You can
Yeah,
do
go
all
ahead.
sorts of funny things. That's basically it. Looks interesting.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
How are you this morning, Darkman?
Oh, I'm doing well. How's everybody doing? How are you doing, Cassius B?
Doing alright?
Excellent. Well, I'll be your donation reader, folks, for the next few hours. So sit down, relax, let's have some fun.
Did you already cut World War?
still in here. Should I offline?
I think Tuckfist said his OBS had to restart. Oh wait, no, never mind.